Ghay is when basically things are upside down. When you look at something that is up and you see it as down. You look at down, you see it as up. You look at something that's beautiful, you see it as ugly. You see something that's ugly, you think it's beautiful. This is actually the tactic of shaitan that he says, he promises, in fact, when he was kicked out of paradise, لَأَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. I will verily try to deceive them, to make them see things completely upside down. And this is what we're seeing today, I think. And I think this is where the youth are being lost, is that they've lost the ability to see right as right and wrong as wrong. We've lost the ability to actually, it's a loss of vision, but it is not the vision of the eyes. It's the vision of the heart. It's what we call basira, right? The ability to see things as they really are. That has been lost. We don't see rightly anymore. And I think that becomes the greatest trap and the greatest challenge right now, is seeing things as they truly are, because we have a multi-billion-dollar industry, for example, with the media, which is completely confusing the youth, right? Confusing us about right and wrong, and what's love and what's not love, and what's really the difference between the heart and the nafs and the things, and desire and love, and like all these sort of these catchphrases, right? These cliches like follow your heart. Okay, sounds great, sounds awesome. But when it's used in a way where it actually means follow your desire, right? It means if you feel something, obey it, right? Like Sprite, obey your thirst. This is kind of the culture that we live in. It's a culture of whatever your desires command, obey it, right? Your hawa, it's a worship of the desires. And then we call it something beautiful. We call it following our heart. Or for example, when there is a haram relationship and we beautify it by saying it's love, So this is the type of confusion that we have surrounding us, and especially bombarding the youth. And so it becomes very, very difficult to see through it, and to see right as, truth as truth, and falsehood as falsehood. And so I think that the best advice that I can give is to stay very, very close to the remembrance of God, because the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what polishes the lens, the heart. The heart is the lens by which we see the world. And so it's very, very important. Like, you got glasses and they get dirty right over time. Like they're going to get covered with, your fingerprints and dirt and smudge marks, and you have to clean it, periodically to be able to see properly. The heart is a lens, and when you don't clean it, it becomes very, very muddled and confused. And so my advice to youth is never ever let go of the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most important and most life-giving part of that, or aspect of that, is the salah. That we cannot let go of the lifeline of our prayers, because the prayer is the oxygen of the heart. It's what's keeping our spiritual heart alive. And so my advice to youth is never ever let go of your prayer, because if you hold on to your prayer 5 times a day at the minimum, this is our fard, this is our oxygen, and do everything in your power to make it at its appointed time. If you do that, then what it will allow you to do is to see through the illusions, and to be able to see truth as truth and falsehood as falsehood. And of course, holding on to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran, and keeping that relationship with the Quran as a regular daily relationship, even if it's one verse, one ayah, keeping connected to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and finally making the dua as part of your daily routine. I always advise people to say their morning and evening supplications, even if it's just a few of them that we take from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, when he would, what he would say when he wakes up, what he would say after Fajr prayer, that if we can incorporate this as like a daily routine, it will allow us to stay on the straight path, regardless of all the confusion that's around us.